we like to celebrate when any of our acquisition entrepreneurs close on a business. The latest of which is our friend MJ, who recently closed on a company in Melbourne, Florida. You'll hear his whole process. He joined us in around April or May, and went through the process pretty quickly to close on this deal. We're really excited for him, and we wanted to share his story. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Of course, appreciate it.
Yeah. And so could you tell us a bit about the business you bought?
Yeah. So the business is called Space Coast Trim and Door. They're in the business from 2014. It's a two owner operated business. They are 50-50 partners. They were working partners long back, like 20 years ago or something. Then they started this business for like $12,000, and they made it as a great business in this next 10 years. And yeah, they had so they primarily focus on making doors and trims and staircases and anything, interior doors, exterior doors, trims and crown molding, inserts, those kind of stuff. They don't do windows. And they started doing this with a lot of subcontractors, one local builder, and eventually they grown into national builders. Like Lennar and D.R. Horton is a very big customer for them. So they have a national builder contract, and they focus on quality and customer service, and they've grown exponentially in the last 3 years.
That's very great to hear. And how was the search process for you? Or I guess, when did you first join Acquira?
So it was an interesting story. So I was reading through Acquira initially. Then I was doing my own research. I started all this by myself in January. Then I heard about Acquira somewhere in May. No, not May. Probably April sometime. Then I was thinking about it. Then I did a lot of research and kind of a research guide. And I spent a lot of deep dive. Then I started doing my own LOIs and started doing some research. I actually got one cabinet business in Jacksonville during that time in before Acquira. Then that's when I'm like, I can do all the financials, but I still needed a technical opinion. I'm like, let's join Acquira. So I joined Acquira. 2 days I go through the courses. I finished like 90% of the courses in 48 hours. Then I called Rich and like, hey, I need a IC call. I'm like, what? Yeah, the soonest is the better, because I'm writing an LOI. So we got an IC call. The following, I joined Acquira on a Friday, and we joined. We had the IC call in the next Monday or Tuesday, and it was awesome. He liked it, and we made an LOI, and unfortunately we couldn't land on it. So somehow the seller preferred a different buyer, because the seller was feeling they were more naturally qualified to run the business than us, coming from our background. That's when I realized, okay, so let's leverage Acquira. I started setting deal alerts. That time I exhausted all my options in Jacksonville. I didn't really find anything that is attractive, because when you first start the search, you see all these companies, it's on the market, you don't know how long they are. You kind of ask them, get to know, then eventually you realize, okay, this is sitting on the market for 2 months for a reason. You kind of gauge a good deal and a bad deal once you spend enough time. Then I started taking help from Acquira, where the deal alert was great, and I changed my mindset only to look at MSA, Jacksonville MSA. It forced me to, or it kind of nudged me to like, hey, look outside, there may be a better opportunity outside. That's when I started looking at outside of Jacksonville, and expanding my criteria to Orlando, Miami, and Tampa. That's when I came across this business, and then we landed it.
Great. How much did you end up paying for it, or at least a multiple?
That's so this was a 680K SDE, and I paid 1.4, which includes 150K inventory. So it was actually 2.25 or something.
Oh, that's great. And how did you find the process of working with Acquira? Did it help?
Yeah, it was definitely helpful. And again, I took it to IC with this deal, and Rich was guiding me all the way through. Then when I met Hayden and all the guys from the workshop and Rich in person, man, it's like I felt like I was ahead of a curve, and talking to Hayden, I realized like he's ahead of a generation, man. He has so many ideas. And the process, I think the deal alert was me a big deal, because I was able to mark the deals, move them to a NDA sign, and classify them. I went through a process like 150 listings in span of 2 days, and I filtered them through. I got probably 80, 100 plus NDA, and probably got 70 to 80 prospectus, in which I made 3 site visits, and this was the one we landed with an LOI. The first one before Acquira was before, but the only one LOI I landed after the 3 site visits is this one, and yeah, we ended up making a deal.
And you mentioned that you're in Jacksonville, but the company is in Melbourne. So how are you going to manage what's your plan for managing the travel and all of that stuff?
So it's, even though it's in Melbourne, it's not bad. It's like 2 hours. So if needed, I can drive on Monday morning, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. So I'm driving to the business on Monday morning, staying here till 4 days, and leaving on Friday evening. And I'm gonna figure out a place to live nearby to see how because do not want to make a big move without knowing the area, which neighborhood is good. I have kids. I want to make sure they have good schools and all. Then eventually we will probably move. But like I said, my plan is always to see if I can take the business from, like, we have a national contract. Lennar builds homes, a lot of homes in Jacksonville. If I can have my location currently with a big manufacturing facility and make the satellite location in Jacksonville and Daytona Beach, I'm trying to see potentially we can cover the whole coastal area with these builders, and like it could become really huge. It's just that you have to put in the right people and right plan for it. Then I don't even have to move if that's the case. So we're still debating about it.
Yeah,
But for now, I'm running it by coming here every week.
mm-hmm. That's the kind of ambition we like to see, though. So, for a lot of acquisition entrepreneurs going through the process, it's a little daunting, the idea of acquiring a business. What advice would you give to someone that, maybe is at the beginning of their business buying journey?
Don't give up. So I was upset after going through a lot of NDAs and deals not locking up, and like some of the visits, and some brokers were not even entertaining you because they think you don't have the fit or qualification. They just ignore you. Like, brokers are really bad. Not very good brokers are out there. But if you keep looking, like I said, I felt like this is a super deal compared to what I had in the first LOI. The price point wise, that the company has a lot of growth opportunities and area of improvements. It has a great culture. So yeah, just don't give up. Keep looking. Follow the guidelines Acquira is giving you. That they have laid down a great plan, and if you follow it thoroughly, I think it has to have a little more dedication to it. You cannot just do it as a side task or something like that. I do think you need to spend a little more time every day focusing on it, so that you keep understanding the process. Like once you keep doing it forever, it kind of becomes a permanent piece of cake. And they do need to sign a lot of NDAs and look at a lot of prospectus to get an idea. Then they should be able to find the the business that they're looking for.
Great. And what's the plan for the future at this point, other than going to Jacksonville and Daytona
yeah
Beach?
I kind of felt I just closed a franchise 2 months before this business, so it's kind of overwhelming. I actually wanted to keep on acquiring. I'm thinking about probably attaching a window company or like an add-on to this one, and I can go back to Lennar and say, hey, I can do the windows for you too, something like that. So, or I just focus on expanding this door and trim. We are trying to move to a bigger facility so we can make the production. We are making like 500 doors a week in a maximum time, but there are setup that we can do with 500 doors a day. So I want to be able to do, but we don't have a bigger facility to store the doors if you make them. So I'm trying to move to a bigger facility, then go to Lennar and say, hey, if we have more subdivision, we are able to get this and get it done. That's when I think that can expand really well. So yeah, it's focus on expansion.
Well, MJ, I really appreciate you taking the time to walk us through your journey. Yeah, thanks for taking the time, man.
Thanks, Larry. I appreciate it. Nice talking to you. Thank you.
Likewise. Take care. Right. Congratulations again to MJ. MJ came to us through our accelerator program. That's our DIY course that teaches acquisition entrepreneurs everything they need to know to acquire a business themselves. More recently, Acquira started offering a do it with you approach, where we will actually source the business for you based on your unique investment thesis, perform the due diligence, bring the deal to our investment committee to make sure it is a good deal, and negotiate the LOI on your behalf. Once you're in an LOI, we can help you through the closing process, negotiating the terms, and to the point where you actually close on the deal. And after that, if you're interested in growing the business even more, we have our change management ACE framework, which will help you transition from an owner-operated company to a management-run company so that the business continues to succeed for years to come. If you're interested in any of these, please sign up through the link below. Thanks so much for your time.